Hey guys, this is PV here from the Home Automation project. Today I'm going to show you how to connect your ESP32 dev board to the Home Assistant. One of the interesting uses that you can do of this feature is you can set up your Bluetooth smart devices to talk to the Home Assistant instance over Wi-Fi. So stay tuned for some interesting stuff. Hi, today I'm going to show you how to install and access your ESP32 board from Home Assistant. So this is my ESP32 board. This is the one from Wrover, and this comes with certain peripherals pre-attached. As an example, we have this camera here. So in this video, I want to show you how you can set this up to integrate with your Home Assistant and how you can access the peripherals such as this camera from Home Assistant. So before we get started, I just want to introduce you to the concept of add-ons. So if we go to settings in Home Assistant and if you click on this menu which is called add-ons, you will have this interface where you get a button called add-on store. Now if you click on this, you will see quite a few big list of add-ons here. What are add-ons? Add-ons are applications which install their own servers on the same box as your Home Assistant instance is running, and they can be set up to integrate with your Home Assistant server through agreed protocols, so that they can exchange messages with your Home Assistant server, which enables them to integrate seamlessly to a Home Assistant. As you can see in this interface, it is divided into sections. So the top section has all the official add-ons which Home Assistant officially supports, and then you have got all these community add-ons which you're free to install and use. For our scenario where we want to use this ESP32 board, we are looking for the add-on called ESPHome. So if you click on this add-on, you will get option to install the add-on. So click on install, and let's wait for the installation to complete. Okay, now the installation has completed and the server is ready to be started. So you'll get the start button. Click on the start to start the server. Before you do that, you've got three options. The start and boot is selected on by default. I would suggest you leave that on. And there are two other options: to switch on the watchdog, which basically helps keep track of whether the add-on has crashed. I tend to switch it on, and also show in sidebar, which I also like to switch on. This creates a shortcut on the left sidebar which you can later use to quickly configure the add-on. You can always navigate to this section through the add-ons menu under settings and still manage to configure the add-on if you don't add a shortcut. So click on start to start the server, and as you can see, the server has started successfully. The next step would be to open the web UI by clicking on this button. So as you can see, it has discovered my BLE proxy connector which is available on the network. However, I won't be configuring it for this instance of ESPHome. I do have another instance of ESPHome running on a separate Home Assistant, and that is where this is connected today. So the first thing you can do is click on new device, and what it says is that your device needs to be connected to the computer with USB cable. Please note that this is for the first time, because this device, ESP board of mine supports Wi-Fi. So, but to enable the Wi-Fi, we need to download a configuration file onto this device, and to do that we need to plug into the computer, which I've done with this cable, so that I can download the binary installation including the Wi-Fi settings. And once it is set up, then I don't need to connect it directly to this computer anymore. It still needs to be powered on, but it can use Wi-Fi. We can use Wi-Fi to transfer data as well as to transfer files such as future firmware updates via OTA. So as a first part of the setup, we need to create and download a binary file. So click on continue, and it asks me to name this installation. Let me name it as Wrover dev board, and click on next. Choose ESP32 as the option, and then click on install. Now it will ask you a few options. In my case, since I plugged it into the computer via USB, this is the option need to select, and you now need to wait for this download to be prepared. Once this is prepared, you will see this download project link enabled, and that will allow us to go to the next step. So let's wait for this download to end. Okay, so now the project is ready. So you can click on download project and then save it to a local location. I've created a folder called ESP32 binary. I'm going to save it here on my MacBook. Next step would be to open ESPHome Web. So this ideally you should use a Chrome browser to open this, because this would need some drivers to be present, which is usually available in Chrome browser. So what I will do is I will copy the link address and open this in Chrome browser. Okay, so I am on my Chrome browser and I'm going to paste the link and hit enter. This opens the ESPHome web page. Now the next step would be to connect to this ESP32 board. One thing to remember here, that sometimes it may not detect the board or the serial port. So there could be a few issues with the number one issue that usually happens is that this cable is not capable of data. So although the cables look similar, but some of these cables only supply power and some of these supply power plus data. So you need to ensure that this cable has data capability. So click on connect and you should see this USB serial option. So select and click on connect again. Now click on install and click on choose file, and then navigate to the binary which I downloaded in the previous step and click open, and then click install. This you should see some lights flashing if this device is properly connected, and as you can see, this is the first step it performs is it erases any data on the board and it does a fresh install, since this is a binary download. Okay, so the download has completed successfully. One of the steps that it did not prompt me for is to set up the Wi-Fi configuration. However, if you are installing a basic binary for the first time, it will prompt you to enter your Wi-Fi credentials, which is your home Wi-Fi network, SSID and password. So to demonstrate that, I have flashed this ESP board now with a very basic installation using this prepare for first use. And one of the steps I can do here is click on configure Wi-Fi. This allows me to configure Wi-Fi on this board, so I can select the network, the one which is my home network I want to connect to, which is my 2G network, and I can enter the password. Like so, and then click on connect. This should ideally connect the ESP port, and as you can see, it shows the message provision, so it is connected to the Wi-Fi. So now I can close. What this means is now I can download further softwares and binaries to this board over Wi-Fi. Now that the installation is done, let's disconnect. Okay, so once you have successfully installed the binary onto your dev board, you can go to settings and then devices and services, and ideally Home Assistant should automatically detect your dev board as an option here. You can click on configure and just click on submit, and as you can see, it successfully adds this device under ESPHome configuration. You can optionally add an area. I always like to keep devices under a specific area. Click on finish, and now if you click on ESPHome, and you should be able to see the device. Next step would be to set up the camera. So for that, go back to add-on and click on open web UI. Now click on edit under the configuration. Then you need to enter a few lines of configuration in this YAML file. So the lines start from here till here. So this helps you to enable the GPIO pins for the camera on board onboard this device. I will leave the text in the description for you to copy. The other thing that you can optionally do is set up a manual IP or a static IP for your node, which is this FreeNode dev board. This is the ESPHome node that is being recognized as your source for all the peripherals that you connect. So I have set this up to a very high IP address so that there is no clash, but you can check your router's existing IP addresses to find one, and the range to find one which is free and not allocated to any other device. Additionally, you'll also need to put the subnet down, which you should be able to find in your router's configuration. The gateway would be the IP address of your router. Once you have done all these steps, you can click on save, and then you can click on install, and then you can select the option for wirelessly installing the configuration on your device. If you remember from earlier step, we have already configured the dev board to be connected to Wi-Fi, and hence it is currently on Wi-Fi, and from now on you can update any configuration you want and click here to wirelessly install that or update the configuration on your ESP32 board. So as you can see, the installation has started. It takes a few minutes to install depending on the network speed. It's always good to have a manual IP assigned, which speeds up everything and also prevents any kind of flaky behavior while the board is getting connected. As an example, if you want to stream camera from the camera on board, it is good to have a static IP there. So let this complete, and as you can see, if you see this line starting log output, ideally the installation would have completed. As you can see, the log has started, and if you're interested, you can see this camera has started capturing images, and you can click stop and exit out of the setup and click close here. So there you go, your device is now set up under ESPHome, and you can start. If you add any peripheral, you can add the specific configuration on the YAML as I showed you, and you can download and install it, and then you can start using the peripheral. Let's add the camera into our dashboard. So I'll go to this empty dashboard which I've created as a blank dashboard, and then I want to add a card, and the card I'm looking for is picture glance, and I'm going to use the title as Wrover Camera, and I'll remove the PNG, add the camera entity as the Wrover Camera, and I can put down this as a live view or auto. So auto will mean that it captures an image every time, and live view is to stream it live. And then we can put some default actions if you want, not required, and I can remove these entities, and that's it. That should set up the camera, and I can save, and done. Let me bring the camera next to me. Okay, so there you go. See, the camera is now pointing towards me and it's working fine. So that brings us to the end of the video. Hope you liked it. See you in the next one. That's all for today's video. Hope you found it useful. I'm going to bring some interesting stuff in the next video. Till then, stay safe and stay connected.